When Minecraft came out, people were blown away by its endless world. All the freedom to go wherever one wanted without boundaries. Soon, people began wondering just how far the game world could go, and they set out to find the end of Minecraft. And what they found was not meant to be seen. The Farlands, as descriptively named as possible, were the farthest point accessible in the Minecraft world. How far are we talking about? Reaching the Farlands without warping would have taken approximately 34 days of real-world time until you reach the location at the edge or corner of the world. And when that happened, several rendering errors would occur. The most evident anomaly of the Farlands were the gigantic cave rock formations that would rise from the ground, resembling a colossal ant farm. In some cases, the game would even render additional layers of ground or water stacked on top of one another until you couldn't tell what was the ground and what was not. And sometimes it would simply render bizarre earth formations. But what was really strange about the Farlands were the effects it would have on the game. Records tell of cases in which the farther you went, the game would gradually lag, becoming more and more difficult to move. There will be multiple texture bugs and objects that move on their own or behave erratically. And finally, prolonged exposure to the Farlands could cause the game to crash. Eventually, the multiple updates the game received since have fixed all glitches and the Farlands disappeared from the Minecraft world. Or did they? Remember the babies from Sims 3? Let's not think about them. Anyway, before they were fueling your nightmares in 2011, something equally sinister was hiding years before in Resident Evil, the GameCube remake, where you would start playing the game normally and all of a sudden it would turn into this. For whatever reason, the game would grossly deform the character models, turning them into twisted, flat and slender versions of themselves, similar to the babies from Sims 3. But unlike the babies, you have total control of your monstrosity and can walk around, interact with stuff, and kill zombies. As a bonus, I have to say, the game's dialogue really complements the glitch.
I think you'd better take a look at this.
What, your floating crotch gun? Apparently this glitch is also somewhat rare, as there aren't many records of it happening. But it exists, and that's all that matters.
See if you can find any other clues.
Well, good luck with that. I really don't need to introduce this next glitch. It speaks for itself. Beautiful, wasn't it? That's right, it's everyone's favorite ship glitch, the jackdaw from Assassin's Creed 4. Imagine the shock players felt when they wanted to return to their ship, only to find no ship, but a huge rift in the water that looked like something out of the Cthulhu mythos, followed by the ship's crewmen drowning in the opening, then ascending into the heavens like if it were the Rapture, ultimately concluding with the jackdaw rising from the depths of the ocean. And that's not the only glitchy thing that can happen with the ship. In some cases, if you don't see the ship, you can teleport to it and find out that the ship is, in fact, floating high above the water, sometimes in a near vertical angle. And sometimes you will find the ship just spazzing out very awkwardly. But really now, nothing beats the Ascension glitch. It's the ultimate combination of weirdness, hilarity, and biblical epicness. And it's such a shame that there's no glitch like this in the following Assassin's Creed game. Seriously, Unity? You had a ton of glitches but no equivalent to the jackdaw glitch? How could you? Remember the 4th day glitch from Majora's Mask that turns the game into an episode of The Twilight Zone? Well, there's an even weirder Zelda glitch that came before, and in its case, it turns the game into something made by freaking David Lynch. Link's Awakening, which is already weird for Zelda standards for having themes and characters that look really out of place, has a dark secret. Kill at least one enemy and go back to the house with a chain chomp outside. Go to the doghouse and do a series of movements on its side. And if done successfully, you will see one of the most bizarre glitches in Nintendo history. The doghouse glitch. In this glitch, you'll find yourself in what looks like an abnormally rendered dungeon. And while the place itself looks bizarre, it's the things you find in here that make it notoriously weird. There's a 2-headed dog, sprites that are split apart, garbled enemy sprites, disembodied heads with swords, spontaneous drowning, dungeon layouts that make no damn sense, and many impossibly nonsensical things. Interestingly, the glitch will be different depending on your version of the game or how many enemies you kill before triggering it, like your own special insane experience. This is like the missing no of Zelda, only without the surprisingly devout fanbase. Come on guys, give the doghouse glitch some love too. There are many glitches that are weird. They are remembered for a while until a newer, weirder glitch comes and takes its place in popularity. But only a few glitches become legendary and remembered for decades. Much like Missing No in the original list, the glitch I chose for number 1 in this list, while it may not look as visibly strange, it has passed on to history as an event that terrorized many players, and those who experienced it will never forget. Number 1 is the insidious, sinister, dreadful, and oh wow, I'm making this sound a lot more dramatic than it actually is. The corrupted blood plague from World of Warcraft. It all started in September of 2005 when a new raid called Sul Gorab was introduced in the game. The end boss of the raid was known as Hakar the Soul Flayer, and one of his attacks was Corrupted Blood. It was a contagious spell that would debuff and gradually drain HP from players, killing lower level players and significantly damaging higher leveled ones. The spell would only affect players within the raid area and would end by itself after a while. So once the raid was done, players returned triumphantly to their other activities. But something went horribly wrong. The spell found a way to glitch out of the raid area by transmitting to pets or minions, ultimately passing the affliction to their owners or nearby players, and shortly after, an epidemic began. Hundreds upon hundreds of players would contract the corrupted blood and lose health as they walked around the hub world. What would start as a few characters bleeding out would turn into a dozen, and then hundreds in a matter of minutes. Just like in the raid, lower level players were killed quickly while the higher level players would be forced to heal constantly. Records claim that many players would see dead bodies scattered all over the streets daily, like the aftermath of a genocide. Stranger yet, the corrupted blood would infect NPCs who, despite not showing any symptoms, could still infect other players near them. Soon, people realized that there was a lot more to the outbreak of this glitch. There were groups of people who would purposely spread the disease in towns and cities by releasing infected pets. In other words, total bioterrorism. There are claims of people who quit playing the game until the glitch was fixed. Others would shelter themselves at their homes and avoid contact with anyone. There were even medical groups that would be constantly healing those who were afflicted, lookout groups searching for any terrorists who would spread the corrupted blood, and quarantine areas for the infected. People in the game acted almost exactly like people in the real world act in the face of an epidemic. But this glitch goes beyond that. Due to the nature of people purposely spreading the disease, the glitch gained the attention of epidemiologists and anti-terrorism officials for its implications of how people could react to an epidemic in the real world and how terrorists could plan a biological attack. Yeah, a freaking glitch from World of Warcraft gained the attention of trained professionals in the medical and crime-fighting department. If that is not insane, I don't know what is. The epidemic lasted a week and it was finally put under control after a series of patches, but the corrupted blood plague was forever cemented in history as one of the most infamous video game disasters of all time. The insidious nature of the glitch, the number of players that were affected and killed by it, and the recognition it received make the corrupted blood plague not just weird, but an absolute legend. This has been Media Master. And if you were disappointed by my choice for number 1 and expected something crazier, don't you worry. I have plans of making another countdown about weird glitches. But you will have to wait at least 3 years for that one. Well, see you in 2018 for more! One of the most infamous game-breaking glitches can be found in Donkey... See, this is why you turn off your cell phone before recording dialogue.